Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to the review of a piece that is currently live on Kickstarter. It has met its relatively modest targets some time ago. This one is definitely going ahead into production. But this video isn't just a watch review. Today I'm going to attempt to answer an existential conundrum that has vexed mankind for millennia, ever since the first Homo sapiens looked up at the vastness of the firmament above them and asked the immortal question, who is Rob Hayes? Let's flip the camera and find out. So before I instigate a quantum leap in human evolution by answering the question, who is Rob Hayes, let's have a look at the Kickstarter campaign. As you can see, 63 backers, 18 days to go, almost double the amount of pledges required to get this one off the ground, and plenty of early bird slots available at $390 US, including free shipping. So that is the price I will be judging this one on today. But moving down a little bit further, we get to what I think is really the heart of this watch, the reason why you'd be picking one of these, and that is the sheer number of different colorways that there are available. Alright, I'm going to take a deep breath. Gold and white, gold and green, gold and black, black and white, black and black, black and gold, black and silver, steel and blue, steel and white, steel and silver, steel and black, rose gold and white, rose gold and brown, and finally rose gold and black. If you can't find one you like there, then you're probably a little bit over fussy. Also to be noted here, a pretty good set of specifications, including a Sellita SW200 automatic movement and a 3-year warranty. Not something you often see on a watch at this price point, and certainly not something I've seen before on a Kickstarter campaign. Once you have selected your chosen Yosemite from the literal spectrum of colour options available to you and coughed up $390 US, what should you be expecting? Well, you can expect some pretty pleasant packaging for a start. This is a first edition, as you can see, comes in a nice piano black case. I'll pop that one open and have a look at the watch. I am going to be looking at the brown and gold one today. Now it should be noted this one is a prototype. It has also been a display model, so if there's a couple of nicks and cuts on it here and there, then that is the reason for that. And the loom, this one features C1, but the proper loom on the production models will be C3, so again worth noting, but all dimensions and specifications aren't going to be the same. Those dimensions being 40mm in diameter, just a smidge under 10mm thick. One of the benefits of using one of these Sellita SW200 or ETA 2824 movements, as opposed to the ever faithful but rather ugly to look at Seiko NH35 and its derivatives, is that you can get your watch this thin. 45.5mm lug to lug, 20mm lug width, weighing in at spot on 80 grams. I think this one definitely having the potential to appeal to both sexes. That set of dimensions making it a slightly larger watch for a lady to wear, or a pretty much spot on size of watch for a gentleman. 316L stainless steel case and crown. 3-piece case, couple of different finishes. We've got a brushing on the mid case, polishing on the upper case and the case back. Slightly small crown with the Rob Hayes logo on it, but it doesn't look disproportionate once you see it in context of the overall dimensions of the watch. Dead flat sapphire crystal with a double AR undercoating, helping to make this one legible. We've got applied indices. Now I think they're kind of Rolex Oyster Perpetual style hands, a good choice, and no loom on the second hand, but certainly a little bit of loom on the minute hand and the hour hand. Applied indices, including that kind of modern update on the Roman numeral up there at 12 o'clock. Everything else just a simple baton, but a nice bit of texture, certainly catches the light. I don't mind this brown dial, I have to say. Lovely sunburst effect. I would imagine that all of the other colorways will do something similar. And onto the back of the watch, we have got an exhibition case back here, 6 screws, screw down case back, literally giving this one 50 meters of water resistance, which is just about enough for a watch of this style. And as you can see there, the star of the show in many respects, the Sellita SW200 movement. This Sellita is in itself a clone of the ETA 2824. This is a 26 jewel automatic movement with 38 hours of power reserve. It hacks, it hand winds, and it has 28,800 vibrations per hour, leading to 8 ticks of the second hand, giving it that classic high beat sweep. Now, how accurate is it though? This one only arrived last week, spent the long weekend in the boxy winders, coming in at an average of about plus 14, but looking actually like it's going to be running pretty consistently at plus 15, plus 16. Now I checked the Sellita website, they suggest that most of the movements that they ship should come in at around plus or minus 12, but up to a maximum of plus or minus 30. In my experience with these Sellitas, and I've had a couple of them, including in my Oris and my Zelos, they do run a little bit fast. Now, as mentioned, this is a prototype, so perhaps we can forgive it a little there, but don't necessarily expect, just because you're getting a Swiss movement with a Swiss made watch, that you'll be getting something ultra accurate. And please do bear in mind that when it comes time to service this one, if you're wearing it every day, perhaps that will be in about 5 years time, you're going to pay for the servicing. You're going to pay possibly a couple of $100 to get this one serviced at your local watchmaker. Worth remembering. Brief loom video for you. Only loom on the two hands, and as noted previously, this one has C1 as opposed to C3, so I think kind of a sufficient amount of loom for something that is going to be kind of an everyday watch. A little bit of loom is always a bonus, and that is just about enough, if no more than just about enough. And there is the watch sitting on top of my 7-inch wrist. Nice set of dimensions, 40mm and that 45.5, very compact lug to lug. As mentioned, I think this one will see service on a number of ladies' wrists as well, and that is no bad thing, given some of the colorways and more radical choices available to owners of this watch. Now, I'll talk about the leather strap in just a second. A butterfly clasp and Rob Hayes just printed on the clasp itself. And there we are, a little bit more perspective, 7-inch wrist as mentioned, 40mm diameter. I reckon a good size for most people. Moans and niggles then. Well, my first is with the strap. Italian leather apparently, but the cow in question must have been getting towards the end of its time on Earth. It's pretty stiff, it's not all that fantastic, and the butterfly clasp, again, I have seen these clasps before, but I have seen them on watches costing a lot less than $400 US. If you're keen on one of these, I guess you use this strap until it breaks, or you can afford to replace it with something more pleasant. The replacing made easier by the fact that this one has quick release spring bars. So then, life, the universe and everything, who is Rob Hayes? Well, that was the question that I put to Aladdin, the owner of the company, the gentleman who appears in the Kickstarter video. He said that Robert Hayes was a man that he had met while he was studying finance at college in California. He had inspired him to follow his dreams, to leave his career in finance and make watches. A couple of thoughts entered my head as I read the email. I thought, are you mad? You gave up a nice lucrative career in finance to make watches? And then I thought, well, at least it wasn't Engelbert Humperdinck who inspired you to change career paths. You'd have struggled to fit that underneath the 12 o'clock index. But seriously, the name choice, Rob Hayes, is another bit of a niggle for me. I think people struggle putting another man's name on their wrist. I've seen this before with the Richard Legrand watches that I've reviewed with some success in the past. Whether people will take to this one or not, time will tell. This is not their first model, so I guess they're already an established name, even if it is somebody else's name. And I guess you compare this one to Filippo Loretti watches. They are stylistically rather similar and offering a similar selection of colorways, though perhaps Filippo Loretti does have a little bit of continental glamour that Rob Hayes doesn't. But there you go. So overall then, a stylish and colourful Swiss-made watch with a Swiss-made movement that won't break the bank at $390 US. I wonder if Rob Hayes now wears one of these on his wrist. So there you have it now. You and I both know exactly who Rob Hayes is. I know I will sleep better tonight for that fact. Next question. Who's going to be buying one of these watches? Well, I think it's for people who want a fashionable watch that isn't a fashion watch, a viable alternative to Filippo Loretti, for example, and certainly a step up from Daniel Wellington and MVMT. You don't see too many of them packing Sellita SW200 movements and with Swiss made on the bottom of the dial, do you? If I was picking up one of these, I'd be going for one of the more colourful models for sure, perhaps the green and gold to show some Aussie pride, one of the stealthy ones, or even that gold and brown version that I have in for review. I did quite like it. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.